Available at Ocala's premier adult active community on top of the world. From time to time, Robert will bring guests, and you're sure to enjoy our little chats. After all, you deserve the world, and we bring it to you.
If you've been waiting for camellia time, your wait is officially over at Bob Wine's Camellia Gardens in Ocala. They're ready with thousands of budded and blooming sun and shade-loving camellias at prices starting as low as $15.99 in the number 1 size. Larger sizes are available, including Bob's famous heirloom camellias, the same ones that are shipped all over the world from here in Ocala. While you're there, check out the fruit tree sale. Many are 20% off. You've got to see the selection, including orange, lemon, tangelo, tangerine, lime, many more, as low as $69.99. Get a gorgeous tray of 10 extra large winter hardy annuals for just $29.99. Don't forget the tree sale. Buy one at Bob's low price and get a second one for half price. Check the ad, then head to Bob Wines on Southeast 38th Street. 5 acres of garden fun for the whole family. We'll see you there today.
Now you've done it. Have you lost your mind? He's back. And you're listening again. A legend in his own mind. Don't believe me? Just ask him. Here's Tom Schmitz live on WOCA. The Source.
Welcome back to Ocala Talks. Galen, you know, he's here from Life South, brought to you by the good folks at Palm Garden Health and Rehabilitation Center. Palm Garden is located at 2700 Southwest 34th Street. They offer skilled nursing, physical, occupational, and speech therapy. If you have any questions you want to ask Palm Garden, give them a call, 352-854-6262. That's 352-854-6262. Also, Penn Flooring, family-owned and operated, serving Marion County for over 30-plus years. Penn Flooring is a full-service flooring company dedicated to finding the best solution for your flooring needs. They have experience in both commercial and residential flooring. Go see their amazing showroom at 1201 Southwest 17th Street here in Ocala. Or if you have any questions for Penn Flooring, give them a call, 352-351-3420. And, of course, Just Ship. They flipped the script in shipping. Before, you had to buy tape, bubble wrap boxes to securely wrap your items. Then once you got them boxed up and ready to ship, then you had to go stand in line at the post office or the UPS store, wasting not only time but money. Just Ship flip that for you. They'll come for a small pickup fee plus postage. They'll do the boxing, the packaging of your item. They'll go stand in line for you, saving you time and money. And we know time is money, so they save you money on top of money. That's justshipped.net. Galen, you know, from Life South joins us. Galen, you alluded to that you had your eye was bouncing last night. It wasn't just on the World Series.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think there's I kind of love elections. I think they're fun. It's the closest thing you get to like the draft or something like that. And I love watching whichever side is losing. I love how they kind of lose their minds. The talking heads and the pundits kind of lose their minds. I just find that kind of fun. It's and what they blame it on, and how far away from reality some of these people really are.
Is there ever a better night of watching election results than to watch the people who for 18 months had said that Donald Trump was never going to win? Don't worry about it. There's no way he's winning. Hillary's going to trounce him. Was there ever a better election night than watching those results come in?
That was pretty good. I will say George Bush's second election was fun, except you just didn't have as many outlets then. But when he won, I think a lot of people were shocked by that. I mean, even when Barack Obama won the second time, there were some people like, oh my gosh, I can't believe that he won and all that. I'm like, I don't know how you didn't think that Barack Obama was getting reelected.
Yeah,
but obviously you don't walk around and talk to people.
See how it was setting into these people at CNN and NBC and all that. Oh my God, Donald Trump is going to win this thing, and Hillary is that it was. Sure. And I remember the one moment when they panned to the the hall where Hillary Clinton was supposed to, have her party and everything, and they pan the seating there, and there's a girl probably 22, 23 years old with a big Hillary Clinton button on, and I always say she's my reference now when I say when somebody was I used to date a girl who was a big Hillary Clinton supporter, and I said she was a button-wearing, crying on election night Hillary Clinton supporter, because I remember that girl sitting in the bleachers they had there. She had a big Hillary Clinton button on, and she looked like she had just dropped her ice cream in the dirt without ever taking a lick of it.
Yeah, the girl who's just sitting there screaming.
Just
yeah,
screaming.
I mean, oh, yeah, I mean, there's some comedy gold in it, but again, I think last night it was there was a couple that I think they were showing me the Virginia Democrat McLaughlin. I don't know. McAuliffe. That's it. They were showing his party, and it was empty. And I was like, "Oh, that's great. That's funny." So, and again, it's that's why I would love to do a live show at the election office. I think it'd be a lot of fun.
Last night, Glenn Youngkin pulled off the upset in Virginia. He defeats Terry McAuliffe. Virginia's a little weird, too, about how they do elections, because there is no incumbent governor you run against, because you're only allowed
That's
one
correct.
term, and then you can't run again until a term passes. So McAuliffe was governor from 2013 to 2017. He wasn't allowed to run in 2017. He had to wait till 2021 to run again. And so it's kind of weird that way. But the one that gets me is Jack Citarelli, who is the Republican in New Jersey. He leads the incumbent Democratic governor, Phil Murphy. Murphy was favored. Joe Biden won New Jersey by 16 points. And right now, there's going to be a recount, but right now the Republican is winning out of 2.3 million votes cast. He has a 1,200 vote lead.
Well, there's a couple of problems there in New Jersey. One, they don't pre-count the way they do in Virginia, for example, or Florida, right? So
yeah, they count. You're not allowed. You're not allowed to start counting until any ballots in New Jersey. You're not allowed to begin counting them until 1 minute after the polls close in New Jersey.
Which is terrible. I'm glad that's something that got passed here in Florida, because now there's. Because let's be clear,
you're not voting You're not counting 2.3 million votes in 4 hours. You're just not doing it.
Well, and let's be clear, in New Jersey, they're going to find the votes they need. They are. They're going to find whatever.
Sounds like election fraud. Sounds like you're alluding to election fraud.
No, it's just. I mean, if that wasn't if like the Virginia election wasn't over last night, and he still hasn't conceded, they'd find the votes. They just would. Isn't that how you feel, though, right now after the last election? It's hard to have any faith in them at all.
Is this a bad sign in this off year? It's 1 year before the midterms. The Republicans Joe Biden won Virginia by 10 points. A Republican wins the governorship in Virginia 1 year later. He won New Jersey by 16 points. A Republican leads. There's going to be a recount, but a Republican leads in the governor's race 1 year later. Is this a signal to the Democrats that your power is about to be up?
Oh, there's no doubt about it. Yeah, there's no doubt about it. But that's not uncommon when one party has all three branches of government. It always swings back. I don't think anybody's shocked by that.
I don't think.
But again, I think there, and what Youngkin ran on is something that I don't care what your party affiliation is. You've got to stop and really think, because the incumbent or the previous governor said, you shouldn't have any say in your child's education. That's what he said.
He said that exact thing.
That's a real problem.
NBC had a problem. NBC had a problem last night, because as they're interviewing people on the corners, as they're coming out of the polling booths and everything, and they picked a woman of color who was of Muslim faith. She told everybody once she got interviewed, and she said that she was a Democrat that voted for Joe Biden and would vote for Joe Biden again. Yet when she left the polling booth, she said, I voted for Youngkin because Youngkin understands that parents make the decisions for their children, not school boards. And she voted. She's a woman of color, of Islamic faith, who voted for Biden, said she'd vote for Biden again, but voted for Youngkin because she said Youngkin touched what she needed touched, and that was parents decide for their children, not school boards.
And again, I mean, in what world do you live in where, oh no, and again, it goes back to the government nanny state, right? So I'm not surprised that any of this happened.
Could you imagine if the school board of Marion County said, yeah, don't worry about what we teach in school. We'll handle what we teach in school. You worry about your kids at home. You don't get any say in what goes on in our classrooms. Could you imagine how quick, not only everybody, but Galen, if your kids are still in school, how quick you would be at that podium?
Well, absolutely. Well, they were going to do that with the mask mandate, and you saw the instantaneous.
Instantaneous.
I mean, when your phone, you're getting 3 texts from people you don't ever get texts from. It's like, what are we going to do about this? And I'm like, oh, well, hello. I haven't talked to you in like 6 months. Yeah, and how quickly that changed. And I think that the guy, he got arrested because he was up telling the school board what they did was wrong. They arrested him, and then they called everybody who was against critical race theory or against, non-gender bathrooms was a terrorist. And I think everything you can have a conversation about without being a terrorist. Federal government labeled them as terrorists. Crazy.
Was it a perfect storm in Virginia with the critical race theory taking the forefront, plus the transgender male that went in and raped the girl in a shared bathroom? Was that a perfect? Was that twice? Yeah.
This kid did it twice.
Right. Was that a perfect storm that set the Democrats up for losing the state?
Yeah, absolutely. And if you look at, this is no different than when Scott became the governor of Massachusetts, right? I mean, Republicans just don't win Massachusetts. They just don't. But we'll see how that changes, if that has any impact on the midterm elections. Right, I think the Republicans picked up 1 vote in the House of representatives for last night. They won't be there long because it was one of those interim elections. But still, it's interesting to see that. That's what the Republicans need to control again. If they can control the House and the Senate, then the Biden administration is over. And then, as a country, I think we can get back. I actually like a dual plurality. I don't like any party being in charge. Nothing good comes out of it.
Let's hope.
Nothing good comes out of it. Nothing good comes out of it. What's the best thing for the country is if Washington D.C. is an absolute gridlock. Absolute gridlock. Nothing should get done there.
Let's hope, though, that these politicians in Washington, if the Republicans do sweep back into power in the House and the Senate, do other things besides trying to get revenge and impeach Joe Biden. I'm tired of impeachments. I'm tired of tit for tat. That's not what you're sent to Washington for. I hope that the Republicans, if they sweep back into power, do not say, now's our time to get revenge for what you did to Donald Trump.
Again, what I want to happen is nothing. I want nothing. I want the government to be so messed up and for them to do so much infighting that the rest of us can go on with our lives.
Yeah.
That's the ideal situation.
I'm okay with that. Yesterday I think was a very good mandate for the Republican Party. And by the way, Glenn Youngkin did it the right way. See, I don't think this is getting talked about enough. He used President Trump, but he kept him at an arm's distance. So he was able to satisfy people who are very, very good supporters of Donald Trump, the base. He was able to satisfy them by bringing the president in and letting the president talk about how he supported him all. But he didn't use him the entire election. He ran on things like education. You can't have a school board telling parents that we're in charge, you're not. He ran on things like that, and he used the former president in a very limited way, but in a very good way, and I think that shows the script that you can work in concert with Donald Trump without letting Donald Trump become the focus of your opponent and what they say, how they go after you because of Donald Trump. I think that Glenn Youngkin did it the right way. He used the former president. He got the support from the former president he was supposed to. He rallied the base by showing his respect for the former president and what he had done for the country, and yet he still ran without having Donald Trump next to him the entire time. And I think that played well.
Well, and I was listening to a podcast, and they were interviewing Youngkin. And his first message, he came out very early on the schools are my number one focus. He said, I would have never run until I really started to get an idea of what they were actually teaching in our schools. And I think he just stayed on track. He just stayed on message. And he didn't get sidetracked by all the other stuff. He made this election about one thing and one thing only. And that's the school system of Virginia.
The school system of Virginia.
And
critical race theory.
And it worked.
Yeah, critical race theory in the school system, and transgender issues in the school system, where a guy raped a girl twice.
Well, but it was just about how parents and teachers need to work together. He very rarely used CRT. Very rarely used the transgender issue. Again, he walked that line perfectly.
He did.
He did a phenomenal job.
And by the way, this is a guy that was, not a politician when he started this. He was a businessman.
Right.
He was a concerned citizen who was tired of politics. And so he threw his hat in the ring because he wanted to do something besides politic. And that's a breath of fresh air. And he did it by walking a very, very thin line that could have been, if he crossed it either way, it could have been the detriment of his campaign. But he was able to walk that line perfectly and walked it right into a victory, not only for himself in Virginia, but to set up the groundwork for the blueprint on how to do it in all 50 states. And there's no way all 50 states are going to turn red. But now there's a game plan. The Republicans have been shown a game plan on how they can use the former president, how they can go after Democrats and their elitist positions, and how they can do it all without being angry or cynical in the process.
Yeah, that's correct. That's correct. And again, we'll see what resonates with other. But I think every politician has to find that one piece. And there was no response from the Democrat side, right? They couldn't. They were like, "Oh, there's no such thing as critical race theory." That was a big thing, even though it's on their website, which I found pretty phenomenally funny. Even though well, don't tell all the academia people who have written books and essays on critical race theory that it doesn't exist. That's correct. Yeah, I mean, there's that it doesn't exist. I mean, they actually had the guy who created critical race theory and wrote the book on it, and told him it doesn't exist. And he agreed with him. And I was like, wow, I guess you should just give back all your money. Yeah, because that book you wrote, then I guess if you agreed it doesn't exist, that book you wrote, you should give all the royalties back for that book. Yeah. All right. One thing, we only have a couple minutes. What do you think about Cincinnati being snubbed for one of the top 4 spots and putting Michigan State in there instead? You knew it was going to happen, Galen. You knew. I know, but I don't. You knew the committee. Yeah. The committee is manned by the Power 5 conferences. They're not going to let a non-Power 5 conference into the game if there's any way possible. And they're going to say because the name on the locker room says Alabama. It makes no sense, but that's how they're number 2. The same way, how is it makes no sense to me that Sparty's in the top 4. Okay. Yeah, but how does Cincinnati? Yeah, okay. And the committee said Cincinnati's. They take in strength of schedule, and Cincinnati's strength of schedule isn't as good as the other 4, is what they say. Okay. So so if this is true, if Cincinnati goes undefeated, and they don't, I think Georgia and Alabama will knock each other out in the SEC championship game.
Yeah, one of those teams.
One of those is out.
No, not necessarily. If Georgia loses to Alabama in the SEC championship game, they're both in.
I guess. So what? So if Cincinnati goes undefeated, that means they'll have beaten Notre Dame and things like that. What that means? No Power 5, no non-Power 5 school will ever be in the top 4.
No, of course not. Galen, that precedent was set when UCF went undefeated.
Well, but UCF's schedule is even weaker than Cincinnati's. I think it went when Utah didn't make it. Right? Remember Utah didn't have a chance.
Well, that's why Utah joined the Pac-12, because they knew they didn't have a chance in a non-Power 5 conference.
Correct, but well, UCF didn't play anybody that year.
But they play in the exact same conference Cincinnati does.
Yeah, but Cincinnati shrunk the schedule. But
remember that UCF team. No, stop. That UCF team beat a Memphis team that was ranked 11th in the country at the time they beat them. They beat
Notre Dame was ranked 5th.
I understand that, but was Notre Dame the 5th best team in the country? No, but that's where they were ranked at the time. You only get credit for where they were ranked. And not only did they beat Memphis, but that year I think Cincinnati was in the top 25 too. And they beat the SMU team that only had like 3 losses.
Yeah.
So, it could be, there's
but
no way.
They were never ranked higher than 10th in the AP?
Right, but they didn't even start in the AP. But nobody cares. The committee could care less about the AP. And the AP, the only reason Cincinnati's ranked number 2 in the AP is because the AP is trying to get bones and everything and make people look at it instead of the committee's recommendation. As long as the committee is made up of Power 5 conferences, the non-Power 5 conferences, sorry about your damn luck. Go play 1AA if you want a national championship, because that's what the committee's telling you.
Yeah, that's fair.
And it makes no sense. It makes no sense to me. Cincinnati, I've watched Cincinnati play. Now, you said go watch Cincinnati play. I've watched them play 2 games now. That's a top 4 football team. They're very good at every facet of the football game. Do I think they can beat Georgia? No. Do I think anybody can beat Georgia right now? No. Okay, Georgia beat the snot out of a Gator team that was an extra point away from tying Alabama.
Oh, here it comes. I was wondering when you would say that.
Okay, so Alabama is not. Alabama's in the top 4 because their name's Alabama. Sure. Alabama shouldn't be in the top 4.
All right.
Alabama should be 5 or 6 at best.
Is there any doubt Mullen gets fired now after he didn't even stay on the field for the alma mater or the plane?
He's
gone.
It all depends on how much the UAA is willing to pay in a buyout.
Man, what is his buyout?
I don't know what his exact buyout
I don't think it's
is.
that big.
But they've already been burned by Charlie Weiss and Jim McElwain. So.
Well, he did just get a 3-year extension.
Right.
Right, I know that, but it's not that big. I don't know. I'm
looking at it right now. It's $12 million.
But that's one good year of football from the donors.
Yeah, Dan Mullen.
You know what I mean?
Dan Mullen's buyout. Dan Mullen's buyout it's a flat $12 million. No, hold on. It's a flat $12 million, or whatever's left on his contract if that figure is smaller. So it's going to be a flat $12 million because he just signed a 3-year extension.
Again, I just think they're going in the wrong direction. So
I think that they ought to go out and find Willie Taggart and see if they can bring him in.
Yeah, why not? Why not another Florida school can pay him?
Why not let him have 3 Florida paychecks? And a lot of people here's the thing here's the problem I have with Gator fans, and I'm a Gator fan, I know, but the orange and blue glasses Gator fan. Lane Kiffin's an idiot. We hate him. Wait, is he available? We'd like Lane Kiffin in Gainesville. I've heard more people in the past week and a half that all of a sudden they're fans of Lane Kiffin. And I'm like, For the last 8 years, you thought he was a snot-nosed kid. You hated the guy. And now all of a sudden, in the last week and a half, Lane Kiffin's the answer?
I've been on that bandwagon a long time.
Yeah, but you're a Florida State fan. You want to see anarchy and just chaos.
No, I've wanted him to be there for a very, very. I wanted Florida State to have him. I think he's just an incredible coach.
He is a good coach. I think football acumen wise, he's very, very good. Hey, Galen, where's the Bloodmobile today?
Bloodmobile today. We're at the 40 Shopping Center. The Publix right there. So come by and see us. And as always, we're a little further down the street, a little further west on Silver Springs Boulevard, 1607 East Silver Springs Boulevard. Check us out at lifesouth.org.
Probably in dire need, so make sure you go out and give blood at lifesouth.org.
Always are.
Hey, Galen, talk to you tomorrow.
All right, bye all.
Hopefully on time. We'll be back after this timeout. You're listening to Ocala Talks, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.
Broadcasting from the Ocala International Airport, this is WOCA AM, W242CA FM, Ocala, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.
USA Radio News with Lance Pry.
The people have spoken in Virginia. Republican Glenn Youngkin defeated Democrat Terry McAuliffe in the Virginia governor's race.
We will change the trajectory of this Commonwealth. And friends, we are going to start that transformation on day one.
Governor-elect Youngkin is a businessman with degrees from Rice and Harvard universities. He will assume the position January 15, 2022. CDC Director Rochelle Walensky greenlit the Pfizer-BioNTech COVID-19 vaccine for kids ages 5 to 11. That is the final step in the approval process that makes coronavirus vaccines available to younger children as soon as Friday. In baseball, the Atlanta Braves beat the Houston Astros 7-0 to win the World Series in Houston, Texas on Tuesday night. USA Radio News.
Hear that? That's the sound of a man guarding his home around the clock. Because he has 24/7 professional monitoring from SimpliSafe Home Security. With 24/7 professional monitoring, SimpliSafe keeps watch night and day. If there's trouble, SimpliSafe alerts them and will dispatch emergency help when needed. Get free shipping with the order of a new system at simplisafe.com today.
There's a lot of confusion about how to protect yourself from COVID, with guidelines and regulations changing by the week. One thing is certain, you need an accurate thermometer for your family to check for fever, the leading sign of flu and COVID. Only the Exergen Temporal Scanner thermometer has been proven accurate in more than 100 clinical studies. Don't rely on non-contact thermometers. They have no scientific studies behind them and can miss the fever that might mean COVID. Learn more at Exergen.com.
Exergen is changing the way the world takes temperature.
The governor.
It's time for Farm and Ranch headlines on the Southeast AgNet. I'm Tyron Spearman reporting. The American Peanut Shellers Association and the National Peanut Buying Point Association will be having their post-harvest meeting for peanuts next Wednesday, November the 10th, starting at 9 a.m. The location is at the Bindery at the Oakland Library, just outside of Albany. According to Monty Rass, the chairman of the Buying Point Association, and Clint Piper, president of the American Peanut Shellers, they'll be hearing a report from Congressman Austin Scott. There'll be a Washington update by Bob Redding of the Redding firm. Also, Dr. Nick Place, the dean of the College of Agriculture in Georgia, will talk about a vision for agriculture's future. There'll be a Peanut Institute update on peanut nutrition, an update from the Federal State Inspection Service, and the U.S. peanut crop from Chris Balcom. He's Extension Specialist with Auburn University. Hormel will be the manufacturing spotlight. They make Skippy peanut butter, and there'll be some special awards. That's the annual meeting coming up next Wednesday, November the 10th.
Hi, I'm Greg Peterson of the Peterson Farm Brothers. If you've seen our videos, you know we're proud to be farmers. Farming can be dangerous. Never assume location or depth of underground utilities or pipelines. Before you start any work on your farm, call 811 or visit clickbeforeyoudig.com to have underground lines located. It only takes a minute and can save your life.
Never assume the location or depth of underground lines. Always call 811 or visit clickbeforeyoudig.com before you start work. A message from the Pipeline Operators for Ag Safety campaign.
The USDA's Natural Resources Conservation Service has a program to reward and encourage environmental stewardship for ag and forestry producers. The Conservation Stewardship Program is voluntary. Applicants must be USDA operators. For more information on CSP, visit nrcs.usda.gov. Helping people help the land.
I'm Tyron Spearman for Southeast AgNet.
What a new study is revealing about the dangers of tree felling. That's coming up on This Land.
When it really counts, depend on the source for the latest weather updates, keeping you ahead of the storm. 96.3 FM, 1370 AM, The Source.
Today will be sunny to partly cloudy and pleasant with a high of 82 to 84. Partly cloudy tonight, low 63 to 68. Then Thursday we'll have sun through high clouds with a high of 79 to 82. Showers and thunderstorms around tomorrow evening will continue through Friday afternoon with a high of 72 to 80. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm Holly Holdren.
Well, this is a surprise. Hello, ladies. Welcome to the WOCA studios. Please, step right up and tell us who you are.
Tammy Griffin.
Connie Ann Pendleton.
Deborah Jenkins.
Cindy Brown.
Susan Schmitz.
Shauna Tanner.
Andrea Benitez.
April Savarese. We are the Stiletto Network Group, a sub-networking group of the Ocala CEP.